In this video, we will be reviewing the Gold Trade Pro MT5 Expert Advisor by Profalgo Limited. Stick around to the end to receive a free expert advisor from us at Prosperity Algo Solutions. So, we can start off here on the sales page, and before we even dive into the description, we know that Profalgo is run by Mr. Win Schreinemakers, and he is probably one of the most respected developers on the MT5 marketplace, and he's also in top ranked on DarwinX, and the guy really knows what he's doing. So I'm expecting this to be an excellent EA, and we'll definitely go through it in an unbiased manner, but from what I've seen in the marketplace, this gentleman is very well respected. So typically when he puts out a bot, we know it's going to be quite good. This is one of his original gold bots. I believe it's been on the market for many years. So I think July of 2023, this particular version was published. And we can go through his sales page here to get a bit of a better idea of how it works. But he's prefacing it saying that, hey, this is a legitimate system. With that in mind, there will be periods where you experience drawdowns. That is to be expected when you're not trading a grid martingale system, all of which I completely agree with. He's emphasizing what real trading looks like and what you as a buyer should be aware of. And here, which is quite neat, is that he also speaks to the particular strategy. And he says that there's 7 different strategies working together. They use trailing stop losses, and it's based on the breakouts of daily support and resistance levels. So my understanding is that the core premise behind the bot are support and resistance breakouts, but there are a few different ways of trading them. And I listened to an interview with Wim actually on the DarwinX podcast. If you guys are interested in checking it out, it was a great interview. And he was mentioning that, for instance, he'll use more of a zone approach where he knows that some orders are more likely to get placed prior to the support and resistance level because he finds that price is sometimes sucked into a level. And then he'll also place some orders above the exact support and resistance levels, so more of a zone approach, so that he trades the continuation of that. And orders are kind of stacked on a level, the more likely it is to break. So he has a very sophisticated approach to trading support and resistance. And that's why I think he's been consistently profitable for so many years, because he's been doing this for a decade or plus, where he's really refined this strategy. So not to blow too much smoke Wim's way, but he's somebody who's very respected. So now we can go over some of the live signal pages. I think this is the normal risk, and we can see, as expected, good returns, but there's definitely drawdown periods, and especially in the past few months, this particular style of strategy, so trading breakouts of support and resistance levels, was really beaten up prior to the election, just because I have some bots which trade in a very similar manner, so I followed this very well, as it was somewhat painful. When effectively price would go, they would tap a support resistance level, trigger your order, and immediately reverse. And then quite often it would go right to the opposite order, trigger that one, and then immediate reverse. So it was trading essentially in a channel, but in a very big channel, so just enough to continuously oscillate between minimas and maximas and trigger your orders. So it was a very rough period for this particular style of strategy. However, post-US election, we've now seen much cleaner price action, so I wouldn't be surprised if this thing continues to make higher highs into the new year and in December. But essentially here we'd say clearly a very real equity curve. There are tons of trades here which go back as far as 2023, so clearly it's a real trading system. If we look at the higher risk page here, we can see that it has been, it did very well at the beginning of July, but then August, September, October, it took a bit of a hit. Once again, this is related to more of that election choppiness. It's totally expected. So this is just part of the process, and unfortunately with trading we can't win every day, and this system appears legitimate, honest, but also like it was affected adversely by that type of price action. Now here I've actually taken the liberty of downloading the Gold Trade Pro and running a quick back test. Here it was on gold on the daily time frame. What we can see is it was clearly placing lots of orders, and we can zoom in a bit perhaps on the M1 or the M15 to see how it worked. And yes, it was essentially trying to trade breakout levels. And we will see this more when we run a visual back test, but it's using a breakout strategy combined with likely some form of buffer caused by the ATR. So let me quickly pause the video and get the visual back test up and running. Okay, so we are now running a visual back test, and we can see as expected it's doing exactly that. It's trading breakout support and resistance levels. And kind of to my earlier discussion, it's not just placing one order at typically a minima and maxima level. It's placing a variety of orders in that general zone. So here we can see the first order was triggered, it entered, and then we had a second cluster of orders triggers which entered as well. And this has been leading to the results which are consistent with what the sales page has been explaining. So we can fast forward here as well too, just to see what other trades this ultimately takes. And I'll flip through different time frames so that we're able to see a bit more in detail. But yeah, every time there's a new bar occurring, we can see that there's clusters of orders placed at different key levels. So up here we have a whole bunch of them which are being placed at a key support and resistance level here as well, and they all have different stop losses too. So it's a combination of like a clusters of different pending orders which are being triggered by breakouts. And this is a very tried and tested strategy or style of strategy for gold. I think this is a relatively sophisticated take on it. But yeah, so it looks like a real system, very honest and very sophisticated. So it's quite an interesting system indeed. And something which I like to kind of summarize the interview I listened to from this developer is he was mentioning that all of his trailing stop losses, these are clearly using trailing stop losses, don't actually run on tick data. They run on 1 minute open, high, low, close bars. And this is done to reduce the broker sensitivity of the strategies. Personally, I've always found that I like to use every tick based on real ticks. I like to use trailing stop losses based on ticks, as you can essentially capitalize on the scalping nature of the strategy. However, I understand that if some people don't have very good brokers, that can be somewhat problematic, or it can be more slippage sensitive. But I have found that nowadays in particular, as brokers have significantly improved their gold trading conditions, this is not really a super big concern. You can usually find a pretty low spread broker, but this thing appears to be indeed not necessarily trailing based on every tick, but instead more on bars, which is just a different approach. So it's something to keep in mind. But to kind of wrap up this video, this is an excellent trading bot. So Wim, his experience speaks for himself. I can flip us back over to the real live signal, which I find here is probably more relevant than even just the back test. And it's clearly very profitable. This gentleman has many bots, many different strategies which have proven to be very robust over time. So if you're looking for a good EA, I would think this is likely one of the better ones in the market. So yeah, that's my general review today. And stick around to the end to receive a free expert advisor from us at Prosperity Algo. And leave me a comment if your experience has been different. Take care. Before you click away, if you're looking to get a real expert advisor, here at Prosperity Algo Solutions, we're currently offering our Golden Time Bomb system based on automating the London breakout and opening range breakout 100% for free. Watch the pinned video to find out more and to get access.